This is going to change everything for you. I'm going to show you the difference between going through something really hard and coming out exactly the same and going through something hard and coming out completely transformed. I'm also going to show you why most of the self-help industry has one critical thing that's wrong. Now stick with me for the next few minutes and you'll understand exactly why you feel stuck in the same patterns even though you're doing the work. Here's what we're going to cover. What is a loop? Okay? What is a spiral? Why the difference is decided before you even enter the hard thing, and why the anchor that saves you cannot come from inside of you, and why that's actually the most empowering truth that you'll hear today. So let's start simple, okay? A loop is when life hits you with something painful, right? A breakup, a career setback, grief, betrayal. And after all the crying, after all the journaling, after all the therapy and all the healing, you end up right back where you started. Same triggers, same reaction, same version of you. You feel everything, but nothing really changed, right? A spiral is when you go through that very same level of difficulty, but you come out different, not just healed, transformed. The person who walked into that storm is not the same person who walks out of it. It's the same life circumstances, completely different you. So what decides it? Not how hard you try, not how much you understand yourself, and not how much inner work that you've already done, right? It's decided before you enter the hard thing. And here's why that matters. When you're in the middle of the pain, of the storm, of the fear, of the grief, or the chaos, when it's at its peak, that version of you that exists in that moment is dissolving. The old identity is breaking down so something new can form. That's natural. But in that dissolving state, you lose clear navigation. You can't really think straight, and you can't trust your own judgment, okay? And if you haven't set up anything before you go through that, you will spin in circles, recursive loops, and you'll come out unchanged. That's the loop. Before you cross the threshold, you need three things. For one, you need to decide what you're moving towards, not what you're running from, not what you're escaping. And second, you give yourself full permission in advance for the old version of you to die, not to grip in it while life is trying to dissolve it. And third, most importantly, you must find your external anchor. Now here's where it really gets spicy, because almost every self-help coach, every book, every spiritual teacher right now says the exact same thing. Go within. Everything you need is inside of you. Your power is internal. Now there's truth in that, but there's also a very dangerous limitation that nobody ever talks about. When you're inside of that loop, when you're spiraling, when you're dissolving, that version of you that's there is the loop itself. It is made of the same patterns that you're literally trying to exit. So asking that version to save itself is like asking the Titanic to bail itself out with the seawater sinking in. It's a system in chaos that cannot reliably restore a high order state using its own degraded information. That's what it is. The anchor has to come from outside of the loop. But don't hear that you're powerless. Hear the reframe. That external anchor is not smaller than you. It is larger than the current loop version of you. It can be your higher self. It can be the part of you that exists above this compression field, above this incarnation. It can be God. It can be Source. It can be the intelligence that designed this life before the loop you was ever born. It can be a committed practice, a mentor, a relationship that holds the version of you you're becoming. Not a codependent relationship, but that one. So think of Odysseus trying to free himself from the sirens. He wasn't giving away his power by tying himself to the mast. He was smart enough to know the version of him listening to the siren song would steer directly into the rocks. And he trusted something wiser than his own triggered state. And that's this life is going to give you thresholds. The question isn't whether or not you'll go through them, because you will. The question is whether or not you'll go through them as a loop, as a recursive spiral, or as a non-recursive spiral. And that decision is made before you arrive. So right now, if you ask yourself, what threshold am I standing in front of? And what is the thing larger than my current loop version that I'm choosing to tie myself to? If this hits you, share it with somebody else who's spinning in the same recursive loop. And let's get more people spiraling upwards and out.